Let's dive into the art world. I'm Penny Lane. In the Driver's Seat starts now. Welcome to In the Driver's Seat, presented by the Perfect Cosmetics Company, where each episode we take you on a journey into the lives of industry trailblazers and entrepreneurs who've carved their own unique paths to success. And today we're entering the vibrant world of art and design. We have the visionary artist David Bromley and his talented designer wife David Bromley. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy you're both on the show. I love watching you guys together on videos and interviews. You're so in sync with each other. I'm a hopeless romantic, so I love to see that.
Yeah, we are.
You are. You've really got something special going on. David, what makes Yuji tick?
I'd say a fairly innate determination to achieve across a very, very broad arena. She likes to be good at everything that she wants to be good at. If it doesn't interest her or a person isn't her cup of tea, forget it.
Love that.
But if it's something that she wants, and her choices of what it is that she chases, in my humble opinion, are divine. She's a person who, like me, I think is a bit of a sort of super nerd, but she has the most beautiful cultural, depth, and so is very much enchanted by that sort of thing. Despite having a background in law, it's her, what people call it right brain, left brain. If that is the case, both of those function on a very high level. And then as a parent and a partner, a very committed family person, and so she likes to be very good at what it is that she chooses to put her time and energy into, and she is very good.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I know you're very smart as well, Yuji. I did hear that you were a criminal lawyer. So that's quite a jump from legal to art. Was David a big influence on you?
100%. I think the more time we spent together, it was inevitable that my life would lead further into the creative world.
Yeah.
I think thankfully my old boss is one of our best friends. Otherwise, David at one stage thought there would be a hit out on him because I was moving further away from practicing law. But I certainly find in what we do.
I think it was hard for them to find enough that started working 6 and finished at 10 7 days a week. And when I came on the scene, it slowly got less. And I had my ears and eyes out very sharply for anyone hiding behind a bush or something. Thought I was going down.
But it's I find it quite wonderful because how we run our life and our work is something that I still find to this day very challenging at times, and that's one of the things that I love about it, because your brain is constantly being activated, not only from a creative way, but also just the all the different ins and outs of running a really vibrant, buoyant creative studio, art galleries, it's not a huge but a good
Yeah,
sized
the
team.
game,
The whole thing.
the game itself too. I mean, it's we tend to look at art as an extreme sport, and
Yeah.
to us, people often say, I'm not quite sure how you get all of this done, and I mean, well, we've constantly pushed and tried to set the bar, high enough that our adrenaline is peaking,
And I also think working with you, I've noticed and recognised that one of the things that David does so well is he doesn't guess himself, and he doesn't fear making mistakes. To him, mistakes or barriers in his art practice are like a red rag to the bull. It only pushes him to go further or try different things. And when you have that sort of attitude towards your art making, it's quite liberating. So it's wonderful watching him in the studio, because he's so, as much as he's very well known for certain themes in his art, I love hearing that you've got a big skull painting of him.
Yeah, I do.
But in many ways, it's those different genres or different mediums that he uses, or the different ways that David plays with his art materials, that makes him a really fantastic creative, because he's not restricting himself to these certain rules within his art practice as to how to make art. And some of my favourite things is seeing these happy accidents, or these things that, pieces that at first might feel not quite right, but in many ways they're just so right in their imperfection. So it's fantastic.
Also too, I think, like once you start on a new genre or a new approach, it does feel like the ballast in the ship is tipping over, and of course, that's week one, but then you put time into week 2 and 3 and 4, and that's where you start to sort of refine, I suppose, a new concept, and then the other things come in as well. But look, I'm a massive sort of lover of statements, like from when I was a kid, if at first you don't succeed, try, again. And then, more recently, there's things, people will sort of say, if you walk out into the ocean, the perfect place to be when it is that you're, creating or doing whatever it is your chosen field. The best place to be is just that one step further, where your feet really aren't quite touching the ground. You're on tippy toes to sort of stay above water. And, you watch someone like, say, the actor Willem Dafoe saying something like that, or David Lynch or something like that, and you turn around and you just say, yeah, that's the buzz for me.
Yeah.
At my age, you just, I don't know, I don't think you sort of think about where that's going to take you. You just approach it in that way, and then do that often enough, and I think at least it propels you forward. And then you have the absolutely huge spanning arena of people's feedback, from absolute distaste, through to adoration, and you just, I don't know, you've got to sort of, you just got to, I don't know, there's stuff you've got to block out. Just get back to get on your tippy toes and and keep going in a somewhat unknown area, and then external voices are best extinguished, apart from those people that you love, admire, and care about.
I totally agree. And the only voice you have to answer to at the end of the day is the one in your own head when you put your head on the pillow, isn't it? So that's really interesting to hear you say that. Have you had any... oh, sorry, you go.
And Yugi's, yeah. 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 I find the majority of time listening to her is probably not such a bad idea. It just sometimes sometimes appeals a little bit too much for her desire to, get things right. So if I point out occasionally that maybe I just don't really quite agree with that one, I have to let them know that 99% of the time I do. So yeah, let me get that 1% through. But I am sitting next to a person who she likes to be right, and she usually is.
I love that. It sounds like you draw so much inspiration from each other. Now, please keep this bit clean, but has there been a moment, whether you're in line for a coffee or a midnight snack, that you've had this moment where you've had an idea to create a piece of art or something together?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
What kind of moments have they been?
Oh, look, I think after a while, there becomes that sort of, it's also like, Radar O'Reilly from MASH, it's that radar that you have, and that working together. I mean, I think as far back as 12 or 13 years ago, we were walking down the street and we both felt this sort of electric shock in the legs that were next to each other, and we think very strongly about that time. Was that a sort of almost esoteric moment of connection? But we're sort of we're highly connected, and we often sort of turn around and say, "You're joking, really? Were you thinking about that at that particular
same time?" Beautiful.
And it happens a lot, and I mean, I can only really speak for myself, but I've had times, I'd say probably some of the most challenging times I've ever had in my life would be based around loneliness. And I'm not talking about not having anyone around me, because you can be very lonely with people around you. I'm just talking, like a general aloneness in your thinking and your thoughts. When you have a person, who often shares, your dreams and your passions and your creative thoughts and things like that, to me, my own personal being loves that. I'm definitely.
You're very lucky to have found each other. That's all we have time for today, but it has been an absolute pleasure chatting to you both, and I hope to meet you one of these days soon. Next time I'm in Dalesford, I'm going to pop in and say hello.
Great. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely.
Bye.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. This has been In the Driver's Seat with Penny Lane. Join me next time to learn more from industry legends about how you can take the wheel and steer your life in the right direction.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.